Well, good morning, fifth grade science. Today is Thursday, and I hope you guys learned something about the heart yesterday. Let's review a couple of things that we learned from yesterday. First, our heart is a muscle. It is the only type of muscle that you find in the body that is specific, called cardiac muscle. It's located in your chest, about the size of your fist, and it's located behind your ribs, which protect them, and between your lungs. There are 4 chambers to your heart. The top 2 are called what? Yep, atrium, and the bottom 2 are called what? Ventricles, that's right. And then our heart receives blood from the lungs that are oxygenated, sends it out to the rest of the body, and when it comes back to the heart without oxygen, then we send it back. We don't, your heart sends it back to the lungs to get more oxygen. Awesome. So I will warn you today, there are some pictures they're real hearts. They're not just the heart shapes that we draw. So if you are someone that is a little squeamish when it comes to pictures of blood, the second video that I have on for you to watch today, that one does have an actual beating heart that is showing and demonstrating a new way to bring transplanted hearts from one location to another. So if you're unsure, again, put those blinders on so that you can quickly cover your eyes if it's too much for you. You don't have to watch the second video, but I think it's really cool. And if you want to know what a beating heart really looks like, that's the video to watch, and you can see how violent it actually, which is why we can feel it through our bone ribs. All right, so let's get started on today's lesson. Again, this first picture to start off is going to be a little much, but I'm going to just show my actual PowerPoint here. All right, so a heartbeat occurs each time the blood moves completely through the heart. And with each heartbeat, the heart pushes blood into the body. The heart beats many times each minute and can rest only between beats. So here's our real heart. This is actually a picture taken from the video that you'll be watching. And you can see that our heart, you can see the little shape of how we get our heart shape. Our drawings aren't as bloody. The heart beats many times each minute and can rest only between beats. The age and health of a person, it's going to affect how many times your heart beats per minute. So a child's heartbeat, this is you guys, beats anywhere from 90 to 120 beats per minute, and adults average about 72 beats per minute. If we have a trained athlete, their heart may beat fewer than 60 times per minute. Now, I'm gonna remove this for a second. If I have like a really elite athlete, like someone who's an ultra marathon runner, sometimes their resting heart rate can be somewhere around 39 beats per minute. As you train your heart, it doesn't have to work as hard to get oxygen throughout your body. All right, let's keep going. And this is what our heartbeat looks like on medical machines. And here's another example of that. All right. The number of times your heart beats in a minute, we call that your heart rate. You can find your heart rate by counting the times that you can feel your pulse. Well, what is your pulse? Your pulse is the push of blood through the blood vessels, and that occurs every time your heart beats. You can feel your pulse in several different places on your body. The easiest place to check your pulse is on your wrist or on your neck. So here's what I want you to do right now. If I take 2 fingers, we never use our thumb because our thumb actually has its own pulse. So we take our 2 fingers, and if I want to find it on my neck, I find this middle spot here, and I take my 2 fingers, and then if you notice there's a groove in your neck, like where the muscle kind of separates. If I take my 2 fingers and I slide it into that groove, I can feel my heart beating here. And every time I feel my pulse, it's the blood rushing through this artery right here. And it's in sync with how my heart is beating. Go ahead and try that. If you need to pause the video, you can. The other place that you can check is on the thumb side of your wrist. Again, there's this little bone right here in your radial, in your radius here. And then we have this little groove right here. If we take, again, our 2 fingers and we put it in that spot here, we can feel our pulse again. Go ahead and try and find it there. You can pause the video again if you need to. So again, in this groove here, and in this groove on the thumb side of your wrist. Hopefully you can feel it, because if you're watching this, I know you can feel it's there. You're not dead. All right. So we tried it. Next, your heart makes this lub-dub sound called lub-dub, lub-dub, lub-dub as it beats. This is a sound that the valves in your heart make as they close. Remember we talked about how the valves in your heart, we have our atrium, and as they squeeze, they're squeezing blood through those valves into the ventricles. And then the ventricles squeeze as the atrium relaxes, and they're shooting blood out of those valves, okay? That lub-dub sound, this back. That lub-dub sound is the valves as they open and close. So a doctor can tell how much about how your heart is functioning by listening to the sound it makes. And he uses what's called a stethoscope. This is what a stethoscope looks like. You all know what those are. That is what doctors use to listen to your heart, listen to your lungs. If the sound is not normal, a problem may exist, and the doctor may do more tests to check it out. Now, your heart is always beating. It does not always beat at the same rate. When you're active or moving around, it's going to beat a lot quicker. When you're sitting still, it beats more slowly. And your heart beats even slower when you are sleeping. So getting enough sleep can help provide more rest for your hard-working heart. So let's look at the examples here of heart rate. This is a normal heartbeat. You can see where it rises and then gets lower. Let me go back. It rises and gets lower. This is the lub-dub sound, lub-dub, lub-dub. This is a slow heartbeat. It's too slow. You can see how the beats are spread out. This is a very fast heartbeat, and you can see how fast it's beating. And then this one, you notice that there's no regular pattern to it. It's kind of like short, long, long, short, short. It means that the heart is beating. It's called arrhythmia. It's beating at a not normal pace, and the pacemaker is not working the way that it should be working. So when we exercise is important too, because remember, the heart is a muscle. If we want our muscles to get stronger and healthier, we have to exercise. So the heart muscle needs to be exercised in order for it to be strong. Hearts that are healthy and strong, they don't have to beat as often. And we are going to stop there today. What I want you to remember is that we have a pulse, which is our heartbeat. Our heartbeat beats all the time. The lub-dub noise, or the sound or the feel of your heart, we can feel it boom, boom, is our atrium and our ventricles contracting and relaxing. Lub-dub, 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 and this is how your heart beats all the time. The more we exercise, the stronger our heart gets, which means the less it has to beat when we exercise. You guys remember that first time that Mrs. Augusti or whoever else was your PE teacher at the beginning of the year? Remember how the first time they made you run and you just felt your heart, man, you could feel it just coming out of your chest, or your pulse, you could feel it in your neck. But the more you did that, or if you've played a sport, the more you do that, it's not as hard to run anymore. It's because your heart is being trained on how to work better because it's getting stronger. What I want you to do now is to watch the other video I have, if you want to, so you can see what the real heart looks like as it's beating. And then your assignment for today, I want you to figure out what your heart rate is. I want you to stay seated, because tomorrow we'll do another activity where we're gonna have you exercising. I want you to stay seated. I want you to find your pulse either in your neck, remember using 2 fingers, not your thumb, your neck, or your wrist. And I want you to get a timer out, whether it's a phone or if you can find a timer on the computer. You can even Google timer and you can, it'll give you a timer that you can put, and you're going to time yourself for 15 seconds. In that 15 seconds, I want you to count every time you feel your pulse. 1, 2, 3, 4. Every time you feel it for 15 seconds. Stop after 15 seconds. And then I want you to take that number and I want you to multiply it by 4. Now, why would I have you multiply it by 4? Right, because there are 4 times 15 equals 60 seconds, and there's 60 seconds in a minute. Once you multiply how many beats you felt in 15 seconds, multiply that number by 4, I want you to tell me what your heart rate is. You're going to email me. You can just be in an email. It doesn't need to be written out nice and neat. I want you to tell me what your heart rate is in 1 minute. So for instance, if I had 13 beats in 15 seconds, I know that my heart rate is 52 beats per minute. I'll see you guys tomorrow.